Woo, woo. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a fantastic 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. We're gonna get started with this painting gig, and tonight I got some weird stuff for you, man. I've been painting that Mythic Battles Pantheon, right? But we're gonna take a detour tonight. We're gonna do things and talk about other things, and I'm just gonna hop in, see who's around. I guess I'll hop in ye old Play It Painted on air section, and let's go ahead and stream while we're in there, and we'll talk about what we're painting tonight. So once again, we welcome to Play It Painted Live, and tonight we're going to be working on Batman miniatures games by Night Models. That's right, we're bringing it back, folks. Batman miniature game, and tonight we're painting some Talia Al Ghul. So you can see Talia there, and Talia has some weird color shift thing going on, and you can see it's kind of throwing her off focus. But you can see I got all these color shift paints on her because I'm gonna do wild stuff. We're playing around. Like, this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've painted this particular sculpt. And I love this miniature. It's one of my favorite miniatures in all of the Batman range. And I want to just do weird stuff with it because it's for me. And we're taking a break. We knocked out the first batch, the first box of Mythic Battles Pantheon. But what do we have here? Oh my God, we got Bronze Tiger, and I painted him kind of bronze. You can see, look at him. He's just cast in bronze like a real Bronze Tiger. We're going to play around with him a little bit as well. That's the idea, though. We are just literally just messing around tonight, guys. This is going to be very unlike, what I normally paint on the show. This is just us messing around in the kitchen, basically. That's what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to get right to it. If you're in the comments, say what's up. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. And yeah, we're going to do our thing. So as you can see, did some airbrush work here, primed her up, and then I did black, and then over the black I did a couple of different color shift paints. I believe the first paint was this one. No, it wasn't that one. I think it was more like this one. Old Gold Gray Violet, and then I moved over to Orange Violet because that one's working pretty nice. Now, to let you know too, there's some other stuff I'm working on, but I'm going to show you. This is a base from Fantasy World Games. So they're printing out these really slick sci-fi bases for like your Star Wars Legion, and I have a color shift paint here. So I'm going to kind of flip it around a little bit so you can see the different color tones on that. Right? Really cool. That's what we're messing around with tonight. And believe it or not, there is a highlight on this color, and we're gonna play around, dude. That is what we're doing. But the bulk of the painting, the actual painting on Talia, is gonna be on face and skin. And if I come in close enough, you can see that unfortunately there's a tiny little gash right here on her face. It's like a little divot in the resin, and it's got me bummed out because she's got such a beautiful face. But I'm gonna see if I can do a little repair there. Right now we're gonna do my modern how I treat skin these days. So we can start with a contrast paint, and this is Girly-Man Flesh, we call it, or Guilliman Flesh. I like Girly-Man Flesh. And we're just going to fill this in here, right? And this is you know, it's a contrast paint, so it's base coat and highlight, or I'm sorry, base coat and shade all in one. Right, I'm just gonna get that right in here. Her awesome outfit. Absolutely love this outfit for Talia here. Comic Talia al Ghul, one of the best sculpts available in the Knight Models range. And then, so we'll let that, actually want a little bit more color. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more. And then we will do proper like skin painting, which is, you know, what a lot of people ask about is like, okay, well, the contrast paint skin tones are hated actually far and wide. A lot of people don't like them. They're not easy to use. You know, the slightest little mistake and you're going to end up with some weird looking skin. If your expectation of contrast paint skin tones is that you'll be able to have a completed skin tone, be very careful with that, because that is not always the case, and you have to be pretty good at this in order to paint to paint skin correctly using contrast paints. Okay, so what I normally do these days is I do that contrast paint layer there, and then I go ahead and work on eyes and lips and that kind of thing. So I just jump right into eyes after this. She only has one eye exposed, so it's going to be a little bit easier than normal. If you hear some booms in the background, that's actually the fireworks that are happening just outside my door. My son and I were out on our balcony a little bit earlier today, about an hour ago, watching the fireworks. That was super fun. I was really grateful that we still had, you know, the ability to view fireworks from our place. Not everybody has that luxury, but we were, you know, it's one of the reasons why I liked buying this home so much was because of that. So, so yeah. All right. Painting eyes on camera sucks. And it just so happens this is the difficult eye to paint on camera. The right eye. The left eye is easier to paint on camera because of the angle at which a right-handed person approaches that eye. Right? So we paint in that orbit black, or black gray. And then we're going to break out some white. So once again, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're working on a couple of Knight models, and I don't know, man. I've been overusing these color shift paints. I love them very much. They are super fun to use, and they look cool on just about anything. I can show you guys some examples of some other stuff that I've been using or that I've been applying these paints to. You may already have seen the Mythic Battles Pantheon that I've done with these. But here we go. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can actually do this on camera with this gigantic camera that I now have. Ooh, the white paint dried before it hit her eye. That's sad. Let's get a good wet coat on there. Dab the excess off. Now this Talia al Ghul has a tiny little dimple. Well, it's not a tiny little dimple. It's actually a pretty big dimple on her cheek. That's a little frustrating. Okay. So there's the eye. And then we're gonna, actually it needs to be a little bit bigger. I tend to make the whites for my eyes much bigger than they really should be, because otherwise when you dot the eye, you lose the entire bit of detail. So I'm going to carry this a little bit wider than normal, or than you might expect. Then I can properly dot the eye. Okay. This is going to be trippy, right? Because she has this, like, you can see the shiny metallic outfit she has on. These color shift paints do not photograph well. I should warn so. Okay. I got a decent eye in there. I got an okay eye in there. Not my best eye, not my worst eye, but this is gonna work. Okay. And then the other thing I do is I do the lips. So we're gonna do this entrail pink. It's one of my favorite. It's just the right muted kind of pink color. It's not like most miniature pink colors are very bright. This is a much more understated pink, so it looks better as lips than most of those other pinks. A lot of those other pinks you should be mixing with the base skin tone color. This one you don't have to. Okay. But yeah, tonight we're just having fun, man. I got a commission, I got a giant project, but it's 4th of July. Fireworks going on outside. You know, I'm grateful, as my parents taught me, grateful to be alive and living in a free country. So, and if that's a controversial opinion, then that's a controversial opinion. But that's just me. Grateful to be here. All right, face is looking pretty good. But like I said, there's a little divot there. Let me see if I can. Like, what can I do to? Can I get in any closer? Oh, I can. I can get in a lot closer. Look at that. Get in a lot closer. See how the so you can see the face there. It's not bad, right? Now we got to highlight the skin. That's kind of where we're at. All right, so this is always the interesting part. Skin is just so incredibly hard to do, and you know, I've been painting for years, and skin is still extremely difficult. You're always guessing, like, what is the correct skin tone that you want to be using. In this case, I actually want to go for fairly light skin. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I also want this skin to be very clean looking. Okay, so I may actually end up mixing a couple of skin tones to get the skin tone that I want. Let's see. You know, tanned highlight is always one of my favorites. It's a pretty neutral skin color, and I love the Reaper paints just do really well as glazes. So I think I will actually use tanned highlight. I love tanned highlight is pretty good. I could go bronze skin, but I really like tanned highlight. Right, so we're gonna mix some tanned highlight, and I'm gonna mix it with glaze medium because you you really want this to flow and you want it to lay down super smooth, right? So it's okay. We're gonna spend a little extra effort here to do multiple coats on some of the paint jobs where, you know, I have to get done fast. I would skip a couple layers here. But tonight we're experimenting, painting for fun. Sorry. All right. So I'm going to take that and take some glaze medium, some water, mix that up real good, get myself a nice super thin glaze. And this is going to take several layers to get right. But we're just going to go for it. We're just going to do what we do. So I'm going in straight for that dimple. It's a lot harder for me to see with the giant camera here. It's okay. But yeah, we're gonna build these glaze layers up. Okay. Right, so it's not gonna look great for the first few layers while we're still building up color. Okay. But this skin glaze is so thin. I'm just gonna put a real generous first layer here on the hands. This hand here is exposed. She has horrible trigger discipline, by the way, as do most miniatures. But hers in particular, because you know she's not shooting at anything with her gun straight up in the air like that. Okay. So we're gonna give that a little bit of time to calm down or to dry, and while that's drying, we are going to I want to do some washes on her bodysuit to kind of calm things down, because I want her to have this cool color shift, but I want it to be way more subtle than it is right now. Like I want people to barely notice that it's there. So we are gonna cut this quite a bit, okay? And so what we want to do is I have two choices. I could either cut it with a contrast paint, which is kind of a cool choice because it tints and it will tint and shade, or I could do the safer route and use an ink and a glaze and let it slowly build from there. So the downside with the ink glaze is the gloss goes up even higher on this outfit, and I don't think I want the gloss to go up higher. I actually want it a little bit lower. But let's do this. Let's do the ink glaze first. Decide, you know, how dark we want things to be, and then take it from there. Okay, so here's how. So I'm going to do airbrush thinner, right? I'm going to do four drops of airbrush thinner. Let's do a couple of drops. Actually, I did 3 drops of black ink. And then let's give this a little bit of warmth. Let's give it a little bit of warmth. Let me see if I can find my sepia ink. The sepia ink will give it a little bit of warmth, a little bit of brown in there, which I cannot find. That's par for the, oh, here we go. So a little bit of sepia ink. Whoa, I'm like way out of focus. Two drops of sepia ink. All right, let's get to it. Okay. So this is going to provide some shadow, and it's going to tone all of this down a little bit, right? And where I'm normally aiming for crevices with this type of paint, right now I'm gonna get the whole shebang bang because I want the whole thing to calm down. Right? So we're giving up some of this rose tone. Not much of it, just a little bit. We're giving up some of this rose tone to darken up the whole model. Right? There we go. And you see it's keeping much of what it had, but it is toning this back. Right? And in fact, this will be a good wash for Bronze Tiger as well. So we'll give it to Bronze Tiger too. Okay. Now that things are looking pretty brown right now, we're actually gonna work that closer to black so that she gets closer to her actual outfit. I'm gonna go with Bronze Tiger. Actually, I don't think I need this right now. Bronze Tiger is actually in pretty good shape. He's in pretty good shape. I'm actually gonna give him a dry brush instead because I want color to go up on Bronze Tiger. Right, so we're gonna give him a dry brush of this cool color Shifting Sands from Turbo Dork. Right, so I'm just gonna pour a little of that out. We're gonna use one of my favorite. Ooh, got a little. Hold on. Got dried paint in this bad boy, and I don't like it. I don't like it when we get dried paint in there. This is my makeup brush. Right, when you go to the Dollar Tree or Big Lots in my case, and you get one of these ELF dry brushes. This dry brush has a bunch of metallic flake in it because I've been playing around with so many metallics lately. Let's do it. All right. So we're going in that color. Wipe off a bunch of it. And let's all right, let's go ahead and give him the business. We give him the dry brush. All right. Whoa. Bronze Tiger's a little loose on the base here. I'm gonna hold his foot down a little bit while I do this. All right, I just want to give him the proper highlights he deserves. He's looking pretty cool so far. I love that we're just gonna make Bronze Tiger a Bronze Tiger. Indeed, right? Okay. So we got that. And I want to give him another dry brush. We're going to dry brush another color because Talia is still, actually, you know, I can do, before I give him his second dry brush, I can come back and do another thing to Talia. So we can go and give another layer of this, my skin tone glaze. Whoop, there we go. I mean, this is how we paint these. Just do another layer and then let it dry, and then do another layer and let it dry. It's the best way to do skin. It really is. Because that's what gets you really nice looking, smooth skin long term. Just having a little bit of patience in doing this. All right, let that dry again. All right, time to give Bronze Tiger his next treatment. So now we're gonna break out. Where's my favorite color? My current favorite color. Don't tell me it's hiding. There it is. All right. This is a great color. It's called, well, it's called Pucker. What did you think it was called? I know. I used this joke on my stream before, but I still love this color. All right. This is a very bright yellow color. It needs, I'm actually going to mix a little bit of off-white in with it to give it a little bit of body, if that makes sense. Right? I need to give it a little bit of meat. Just to give some substance to this dry brush. Right, so mix that together, and it's going to make this. It's going to make this sort of, I don't know, what do we call that? It's almost like a lemon yellow metallic. Put that on the dry brush. Okay, perfect. And this is doing what we want it to do. So let's go ahead and start giving Bronze Tiger a little more detail. Okay, I'm just going real light with this dry brush. Okay, right. It's almost, I just want to pick up specific edges and that kind of thing. And we're getting there. Making sure I got good lighting on these edges. So I'm making sure the dry brush passes over the sharpest edges, catches the most amount of paint. Right? I get that this leaves a very messy, powdery look. We are going to address that soon. Okay? Because a lot of people tell you not to dry brush. I used to be one of those people. I used to say never dry brush. And now I totally disagree with that. And I think you can dry brush, and you should dry brush in specific circumstances. So yeah, I flip-flopped on that view. You know, go figure. I don't think, you're not allowed to flip-flop on views anymore. But I flip-flopped on that view and haven't looked back. Still a lot of dry brushing, still a very useful technique. Whether or not, regardless of your skill level, don't be above using it, in my opinion. Still a very good technique. Okay. All right. But now it looks like Bronze Tiger is getting a little life in him, which is fantastic. All right. Back to Talia. All right. Talia needs, guess what? Another layer of skin. So we just keep building that up. It looks like I'm going to be able to fix that little dimple in the resin. Okay. All right. So we got that going on. Now we can also do another layer of shadow, but this time we're going to target that layer. Right. So I'm going to get this right in here. Right here. Down this way. Okay. This actually I think I need this to be darker. I think I am going to have to go with the actual dark contrast paint to get this to do what I want it to do. Okay. I guess while we're here, another thing we should do is we should go ahead and paint in her hair. Right. That will help frame the skin a little bit better. Okay. Fireworks still going on outside. I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy for that. You know, usually on 4th of July, I'm making fun of those people, those social media idiots that, will hate America for 364 days. And then 4th of July comes around and they're like, oh, hey, good job, America. Just because their goal is to get attention and likes and whatever, right? So most of the year you get the sort of uh, morality head nodding around hating America. All these people. Oh, we this country does everything better than America, and they get into that, right, 364 days out of the year. Then America Day comes along. I'm calling it America Day. It's like, oh, I love it. Here we go, America. It's very frustrating, guys. All right, she's looking pretty good, actually. We're also going to paint her bracers black. This glove here. I guess these aren't gloves, they're just bracers because I think this hand is exposed too, right? And we'll get her boots too. And there's a little bit of resin flash right here. It's just a tiny little resin flake I thought I got rid of. Okay. All right. She's looking pretty good, I think. I think she's coming along pretty well. Skin still needs lots of work. Well, we're working on it. All right, we're gonna hit this with a little bit of Basilicanum Gray. Ooh, I think I turned autofocus off. Yeah. That way you guys can hopefully more easily concentrate on what this is. All right, because I don't want the color shift paints to completely dominate this model. In fact, I want this model to at least look somewhat like the box art in that she's wearing a totally black jumpsuit. It's just that my version of that black jumpsuit is a little more bling to it. Just a little more bling. So you can see that Basilicanum Gray did throw a lot of shadow onto Talia here. All right. Pretty good. Let's let that dry again. Now you can see it looks, oops, it's looking mostly black, right? Her skin from the last layer still has not completely dried, so Give her another timeout. Now it's time to do more here on Bronze Tiger. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to continue to push that edge highlight. Right? So I'm going to continue to, I'm just going to take some white. Push the edge highlights even more. Right? Now with white, you don't have to get the whole edge if you don't want it. You can. Like, I did kind of do the whole edge right there, but you don't have to do that. Oh, a bit of a mistake there. All right. All right, and let's go ahead. All right. Very strange miniature, I will say that. The way I've painted it. I guess the sculpt itself is not that strange. The sculpt is just what it is. It's Bronze Tiger. Right? I just went literally to bronze for the tiger. Okay. You can see how that ink glaze is calmed all that like fuzzy, blurry stuff. It's looking pretty good now. Okay. Give the tiger more time to cool down or to dry up. Okay. I mean, she's very close to being done right now. Let's just keep going. Where's 6-shooter? Where's 6-shooter? Should be on this table somewhere. 6-shooter, because I just used it on Mythic Battles Pantheon the other day. Here it is. So we're going to do the gun and 6-shooter. I'm starting to get a little drowsy, so I think we'll just finish up Tolly here. Uh-oh, I just used, oops. That's what happens when you paint tired. I just used my really nice #1 tip on a metallic, which you should not do, because it messes up your brushes long term. Anyways. Okay, give that a nice little extra rinse there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna need pucker again. This time I'll mix it with something slightly darker, because I don't need quite as light as I had on Bronze Tiger. So I'll go like that, and we'll go, I don't know, maybe some NMM gold base or something. You don't see it here. There it is. Right? Ooh. Need to poke a hole in the clogged nozzle. Alright. Whoa, that was a lot of paint. That was way more paint than I wanted. Okay. Let's mix a little. Let's mix some glaze medium on this. It's nice and thin. Yeah, a good mix of stuff. This becomes like a gold paint glaze. Nice part about this is this should be extremely thin. Yeah, it's extremely thin. It's too, I don't like how that's covering it all. Yeah. Let's give a really teeny tiny little wash there. In her cleavage. Get a little shadow in there. So a little bit of water. Camera still looks very dirty in there. It's not working. Okay. Got an idea. I just need a darker color. Ooh, an afterburner. That's a nice color. Let's use that. There's my buddy, my old friend, Heavy Skin Tone. Heavy Skin Tone is a great color. There it is. Let's get some Heavy Skin Tone down. Oh. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of how it covered down in the cleavage area down here. So we're going to fix that real quick. Right, I want a good opaque layer. So let's do this. All right, let's remove all doubt, I'll say. All right, there we go. There, now I've got a nice, good, solid layer there, and I don't need to redo the face. The face is perfect. Right? Let's do that heavy skin tone here in the hands as well. There we go. Just give this model a little more extra stuff to look at. She's also very dark. So now she is starting to look a lot more like the um, uh, cover art. All right. So we're gonna do belts, bracers, that kind of stuff. This darker color. All right. So all this is gonna be that color. I'm still not decided entirely what, but she has a neat, right now she has kind of a bronze tone behind her, behind the dark colors. And it's cool, but on camera it's all kind of running together. I mean, it's a very simple color design for this model anyways. It's just, she's just literally black on black. Now obviously I changed that so that we could get a little bit more interest out of her. Man, that's looking pretty good. Okay, we'll keep rocking with her. Oh, you know, the other thing I need to do is I should highlight her base. Let's go ahead and do that. So I do, like I said, I do have a gold glaze, so we'll use that. All right. I'll give you some interest here. And we're going to highlight individual areas around this insert. Oh no. kind of weird because it does throw off the color shift. So you gotta be careful doing this kind of stuff. You don't want to be so opaque that you've killed what you put down. All right. And then let's punch this up a little, add a little more white to it. Still waiting for that base color skin there to dry. And I'll highlight that up with the skin glaze that I made. All right. Bit more. So now we're going to give this a much more higher level edge highlight on the base. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of weird looking, but okay. So I'll do this. Right. Another edge highlight here. Okay, this inside part of the highlight is a lot more difficult to get with the off-white, so just be careful when you're doing this kind of stuff. You don't want a big old thick line like I just put down. All right, we getting there. We getting there. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or threats in the comment section. If not, keep on trucking, man. Keep on trucking. Okay. Too bad. Oh, it's not too bad. Bling is still very weird. All right, let's do, I guess we just keep pushing it back, keep pushing it darker. So I'll do another layer of that brown ink glaze. Okay. All right. Which definitely has more of a brown, like a dark brown jumpsuit. Let's do that skin glaze. Yeah, She's come along though. Just a very odd look, I guess. See if I can. I may have to back out a little bit. So you can see. All right. Yeah, now it's just really dark. So if I want the color shift back, I can paint it back in. I might actually go, maybe we go a little green. Green would be kind of cool. It's more of like a LexCorp type deal. Let's give it that. Let's give it a tone and just, if we like it, we like it. If we don't like it, doesn't matter. Not a commission, messing around, playing around with these color shift paints, which are very fun, and I don't care where I put them. They're just fun. Let's put these color shift paints like that. So I'm going to highlight with the color shift paint. You can see it's already kind of giving like that beetle-like carapace that I think is cool. Right? I don't want to overdo it. I just want it to show up because it's fun. Right? Yeah, I like that a lot. Just fun little. Yeah, she's wearing all dark, but she's got this cool iridescence to her body armor. It's just a bodysuit. She has a sparkly bodysuit. I think it's cool. All right. Okay, liking that a lot. Very nice. Definitely not something I was planning on or expecting to do to that model. And that's the fun part. All right. So for him, let's shade him one more time. Yeah, that's a lot of bronze on bronze tiger here. Oop. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Paint Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Tonight we're just messing around with some night models. We haven't really even talked about Batman 3rd Edition yet, but I kind of don't want to do that until you know, I'm on here with somebody, you know, that I'm having a conversation with somebody, like a co-host or something like that. All right. Cool. All right. And I gotta glue that. Gotta glue that foot down. Kind of afraid to right now because I want to paint the basin. So in fact, let's start doing the base and then I'll worry about that in a minute. In a hot minute. We're gonna do like a flagstone style base. So use grays, browns, reds, pretty standard stuff. Let me know what you guys are painting or working on, or if you're just watching fireworks. Like I said, my son and I were watching a lot of the fireworks earlier, and it was really nice. You know, it is nice. In years past, we used to go to like the local park, or we would go to my mother-in-law's place and watch fireworks shows out by the lake, which is really cool. But obviously this year we shouldn't do that, so we just stayed home and watched the fireworks from our view, which is great. Is it, am I having a, well, thanks for the like, whoever left me the like, but am I having a problem with comments? I'm not seeing any comments come through. Maybe you guys are all just, you know, maybe you're all enthralled by something else, which I'm totally fine with. All right. Let's do, I don't want to do like a true red. Maybe we'll do a, you know, maybe we'll do like a beige. Let's do like a beige color. It's a good beige color. Ooh, it's bright. It's okay though. Bright is okay because we're gonna tone the whole thing down. So no worries, guys. It's just kind of an ugly color. But again, it's gonna be flagstone. So it's not the end of the world. Okay, just kind of let it do its thing out here. Right. We'll let that dry for a hot minute. Get back to Talia for a second. Doing another highlight layer here. Okay. And then let's do a little bit black here. I mean, her standard paint job is black hair, black boots, black gun, black bracers, black jumpsuit. And that is just, and it looks great. The sculpt is amazing, but it's also very uninteresting from a painting perspective. So I figured, let's just go for it. Let's do something kind of fun. And that's why I did this. That's why I did color shift paints on her. So you can really kind of enjoy, you know, enjoy the sculpt, the cool color shift. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool. Not much to do, but looks great at the end of the process. All right, looks like we're dry enough here for me to, we're gonna wash this flagstone. You can see now that really ugly color is actually kind of nice because it pops once you wash the whole thing. There you go. All right. The next thing I want to do is I want to actually put some. I actually want to put some orange on his face. So yeah, he is bronze tiger. We definitely get the bronze part down. It's the tiger part. It's a little lacking right now. So let's do this. Right. Let's get that tiger part down. Okay, I love that a lot. Got some cool bronzeness showing. Let's do a little bit more tiger on the outfit. Right. So we'll do some orange detail. All right. I like that. Let's do we'll do a little highlight with Afterburner. Just because Afterburner is such a cool color. Been looking for an excuse to use it. Afterburner and Multipass are awesome colors. All right. Oops. We are just about ready to, hold on. So very specific spots to put the Afterburner highlight. Right. You know, it's a very bright color, so you don't want to overdo it on the model, but you definitely want the presence known so that there's no question that this model is called Bronze Tiger for a very bronze reason. I just love it. He's just very bronze. So that's very fun to paint. All right, let's definitely one of the weirdest pieces I put together. Oh, His face actually does need, his face just needs more highlighting. It needs, right? It's not, it doesn't have enough on it. Needs tiger stripes and highlights. Then I'll buy that this is Bronze Tiger. All right. Yeah, okay. So yeah, tiger stripes gonna be very, very tight. Very tight. Just don't have enough. It's just not, I guess that orange didn't come out bright enough. Here. Not bad. All right. Comment section, so quiet. Are you guys like afraid to speak or? It's like all lurkers. All lurkers. We need. Let's get some. See if I can get a proper orange on here. It's a really weird color. Just might work. Ooh, no, that's definitely not gonna work. Try a different color. Ooh, that's a good color. All right. This color should work. We'll use it to kind of highlight. Right, but it can bring a lot of the orange tone back. Good news is now you can actually see the tiger part of Bronze Tiger. It's not just a clever name. I like it. Ooh. I like it. It's very subtle. Overall effect's very subtle.
Hello?
Oh, hey. What's up? You freaked me out, dude. That came out of nowhere. What's up, Tori? Doing some bronze tiger. Okay. Yeah, just kind of did my own thing here on bronze tiger. Make him look a little more interesting to me. But yeah, this mini is super fun. Actually, I need a little, let's do a little afterburner on the top of the chest. Right, really kind of wake it up. That's pretty awesome. All right. Okay. Bronze tiger is bronze. Yeah, what an interesting looking piece here. Can't really get it into the right focus. But yeah, there's some bronze tiger. I'm just gonna come up with excuses to field bronze tiger because he's awesome. That is all. Oops. Don't want to cover too much of the afterburner. Yeah, still want that afterburner to show through. But I want to blend the rest of the model back in. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I'm down with that. Okay. All right. How do you feel about that, silent majority? We good? I think we're good. So we got bronze tiger, and we got Talia al Ghul. I am not 100% done with Talia here. Let me just do a couple more edge highlights. You might as well. You might as well get it all uniform. Okay, pretty happy with that. All right. Okie doke. Well, I guess we're done painting for the night. I'll give it a couple of minutes here for any comments from the silent majority. You guys were very, very quiet tonight. I mean, I can see the viewers, guys. It's all good. Your choice. If you don't have anything to say, you don't want to say anything. Maybe you follow that adage. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything of that. That's the worst advice ever. That's right. You heard me say it. That is a terrible adage. My mama told me if you don't have anything nice to say, no, you say it. You're supposed to say it. Okay. Now that may fly in the classroom or when you're a toddler, but oh my gosh. Jeez. I just saw all the comments. Jeez. Why didn't that show up? Wow, there's like a whole thing of comments that I missed. That's too funny. Well, how did that was weird. It didn't. So what it did, guys, is it on the comments, it showed nothing, 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 and then it just had this weird like blue arrow show up, and it's just blue arrow in the comments, and I hit the blue arrow, and then every comment showed up. That's hilarious. So Congo was here the entire time, and then he talked to Jose. I'm doing, and then Cubist Maximus showed up, and I don't know, and then I think you're. I missed the entire conversation. That's right. That's right. But we got Talia done. That's what matters, right? Get Talia done. We got and we have actual bronze tiger. He looks really messy on screen. What is going on there? It's like I guess he looks like a statue, so he does look very crude. My Discord voice is chipmunking. Oh jeez. I actually had no rant. I was just painting. It was very chill. I'm gonna hop out of my Discord thing because apparently that sounded like a chipmunk there. It could also be my maybe it's just this headset. It's getting old. It's a very old headset at this point. Maybe it's not working so well. But yeah, play Batman. That's all. I was gonna like actually discuss some Batman, right? The Batman third edition rules. But I guess we can save that for another night. That's fine with me. I had no one to rant to. I mean, I don't know. Here, I'll show you guys another thing that's just on my painting desk that got handed me today. He's been frozen in carbonite. So Fantasy World Games, they're making more stuff. He's making more stuff. How about that? He's making more stuff. This is one of the stuffs. This frozen in carbonite thing. So time to go offline. And I've been playing around, like I said. If you just leave, if I have to keep painting, I have to keep painting these things. I'm not done. Obviously, I just airbrushed this. I'm actually gonna go through and paint it, but if I have to keep painting these things, I'm just gonna keep throwing color shift paints on them. Okay, how many more Boba Fett's can we paint? Here's a here's another Boba Fett. And hey guys, another one. Yeah. So I'm working on that. I just started this, which is hilarious. This is like a pinup guild ball thing. Actually, let's do a little bit of layering on this thing because we might as well. We're all here. No one has to get up early tomorrow, I don't think. Except for me, I like to get up early anyway. Let's paint in some eyes and let's get this thing. Let's get at least the first layer of skin on this little guild ball. I don't know. Yeah, it's like a. I guess you'd call this a guild ball pinup. Let's get some work on the guild ball pinup here. Like me personally, I've always wanted to like pinup versions of the guild ball characters, but nobody else wants that. Nobody agrees with that but me. So we did it. We did it, fam. Guild ball pinup. All right. Oh. But yeah, let's get her underway. Like I want to let's get some reminds me of that volleyball game. Are you talking about Dead or Alive? Dead or Alive volleyball? This does, I mean, I think this was originally a volleyball miniature. This is like a beach volleyball miniature that he modified to just have a guild ball. Painting eyes on camera sucks. Talia only had one eye. That was not bad. Pinup guild ball model. Now we need to have a discussion on what character this actually is. Right? There's some obvious candidates for who this character can be. Could be Seasoned Brisket, could be Angel, could be Harmony. I don't think she could be Friday. I don't think she could be Honor. Right? This is not something Honor would do. All right? Harmony? Yes. Brisket? Maybe. Angel? Yeah, totally. Who else would do this? Think about the Guild Ball universe for a minute. I don't know. Would Bushel do this? Bushel probably a little too modest for something like this. So you guys tell me. I think this would most likely be Harmony. Harmony would do this for publicity for her team. Like she would totally, she'd be down for the cause, right? I don't know if maybe calculus. I don't think so though. Calculus may be a little too nerdy for something like this. Fantastic sculpt though, as you can tell. All right. Wait, that was oh, Dicey with the dad jokes in the chat. All good, man. No worries, dude. Okay. Yeah. So now we start layering up the skin. The skin. You can see skin tone looks pretty good actually. But it just needs a little, it just needs to, we need just to even it out. Especially on the legs there. Alright, so we're gonna apply thin layers on the legs and really just kind of build it up slow. You didn't think we were gonna make it to bonus content during this stream, did you? Bonus content. Pinup Guild Ball miniature. Why not? Here we are. Here we are, folks. No good, we're worried now. That was the best stream in that it went by. I didn't see a single comment. Then this little arrow shows up in the comment section. You click the arrow, and like 9 million things have gone by. And I'm like, I see people watching this show. Why aren't they saying anything? It was starting to creep me out a little bit. Started to think, do I have like stalkers? Are there, you know, people just watching this show with like bated anticipation? You know, I like to think that my stalkers are all, you know, extremely beautiful women. That's, and I think that's realistic, right? I've seen it in movies where you know, the normal schmutz guy just has these absolutely gorgeous women that just stalk him. It must be true, guys. I saw it in the movies. Must be true. This may be one of my highest streams ever, because you know, I didn't say anything during it. I just, you know, there's just assume there's a bunch of silent, creepy supermodels that were just stalking me. It happens, right? We're all. Let's see. Evening, I'm at work. We should do that next. Most of the time when you're on, I'm at work. Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah. I don't know. This could be like Dicey. This could be like the Mickey Genver Guild Ball model, right? Once I'm done with this, I could take a photo of it and put it in that chat and see. That's cool. See, Spaz has a legitimate reason for lurking. I don't know. The rest of you, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about. Ooh, I think I just kind of lost the smoothness there. Now, for me, painting this much skin is awesome. Like I actually really like doing it. Um, but it can get very tedious because if you want it to stay smooth, you just have to keep going layer after layer after layer, right? But it's fun. Like it's actually really fun to paint this. Right? You can, but like I said, you don't want to go too thick. I have two of these models, and on one of them, I tried an experiment. Um, I tried painting with oils to get like a really smooth transition out of it, and I just over applied the oils. So that didn't turn out so well. So I kind of hit the reset button on that one. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on, I think she should be Harmony, and I'll paint her like I can paint her like a redhead like Harmony. But if you guys feel strongly that she's another player, like I said, probably the the other most likely player to dress like this would be Angel. I guess that would mean Fathom as well. Like Fathom could be another like one of these type players. Man, if you actually like it, if you did this, if you did your whole team this way and showed up to a Guild Ball team tournament, the amount of people freaking out, like you'd probably get kicked out of the tournament. You wouldn't get kicked out if it was my tournament, because I'd be, oh, that's cool. But a lot of other uh, Guild Ball like TOs and stuff are, um, gosh, I don't know what the word is. They're not. It's not conservative. Like it's like, in a way it is, but you know, you could also argue it's more progressive because feminists would not, modern day feminists would not take to this well. My wife considers herself a feminist, uh, but she's my age. She's one generation back. Feminists in those days loved this kind of stuff because it was regarded more as liberating, whereas modern feminism look at this as sort of oppressive because it's for the male gaze apparently. So and I'm trying not to say that sarcastically. Like I just don't understand the rules these days. so you're gonna have to deal with my unevolved old man attitudes that is okay with this kind of stuff. How much your wife is so cool. She is very cool. She is very cool. I don't know. I think she just tries to be. I think she's just very pragmatic, right? She's you know she is pretty. She can sometimes get kind of militant about the feminism stuff, and I get militant about stuff too. But for the most part, we're pretty chill, right? Which is weird because like nobody's really allowed to be chill these days. You gotta be up in arms about shit that everybody else is up in arms about, or you're you know, or they put a red letter on you, right? And make you live on the edge of town. But yeah, we're pretty chill. Thumbs up. Tori met the wife. Yes, he did, Tori. Now we were talking about this a little bit on Dicey's stream because I forget who I was talking to, but at least one or two of the people I was talking to in Dicey's chat was like, uh, Yvonne is your wife, and I'm like, no, she's not. she's not. And some people that saw the videos I did with her thought that as well, but yeah, that's it's not true. We're not. That would be extremely difficult to pull off, considering I'm married and she's gay. So that's that. Would be very. That would be a very troubled relationship there. Oh, sorry, Darth Torlin. I will use Darth Torlin. Really, you'd get kicked out, then I would have my whole team in swimsuits. Some TOs would be. I mean, what they would say though is that you're not using official, Steamforged. That's what they could say. They don't have to come out and say, all this skin makes me uncomfortable, even though it's plastic skin, right? This is just the shape of plastic. Yeah, and I'm trying to keep this as smooth as I can, but it's starting to get a little livery. I don't like that. Right? Some of this starting to look a little chalky. Let's see. Are you like me? Wow, how did I get to be so lucky getting to hang out with this cool cat? Okay. Yes, I will use your name, Darth Torlin, from now on. You will be Darth. So and I need to do that too when like if you hop in the voice or whatever. But yeah, it's a fun mini, right? It's pretty damn fun mini. But see how it's just getting the slightest bit fuzzy. So I think what I want to do is I want to let that dry, and then I'll give it a very, very light, like flesh wash. Right now I gotta get the. Right now we're gonna redo the bikini parts and the ball, so that we can. But no, I think this is cool. Like I said, somebody showed up with a whole team of these, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. Hopefully they're all different sculpts though, right? Right. If it was just, every sculpt look like this, and they, wrote the names of the models on the bottom. Uh-oh. Looks like I screwed up. Yeah, I didn't get skin all the way up to where it's actually supposed to go. Right, the cup actually ends here, so I bring that edge to there. And then I'll re-highlight that area. So depending on what character this is going to decide what color her bikini is and also what color the guild ball is, right? Like I said, I'm really leaning towards Harmony, which means these are going to be Mason colors. So Mason colors are blue and white. I mean, I could try to freehand the Mason symbol on these, right? Maybe on one of the cups here for the bra, or the center of the panty. One of those. People cannot believe that that is not wives can play games with you. Yeah, it's weird. You know, and she's definitely not the first, the first girl that I've done tabletop gaming with that I'm not married to. There's also Josie, and then like back in the Malifaux days, we had quite a few in the Malifaux days. The Eggers come to mind, the two Egger sisters, who were awesome. And I forget her name. There's one lady that we gamed with that who is my age, and she's married as well. And when she showed up, I remember this is actually a pretty funny Malifaux story. So this was at a SoCal SmackDown, right? I want to say 2012, because most of that stuff happened in 2012. So, we had during that time we had a pretty active Malifaux scene. Like we had a lot of people playing, and the local scene was booming, and people were coming out of the woodworks to learn this game because they wanted to play something new. We promoted the hell out of our little community, which really wasn't that little. But anyway, so we're at this convention. It's in the evening, right? And we're starting to wind down our regular demo schedule and whatnot. What mini? This was a custom printed mini from Fantasy World Games. If there is demand for this mini, like let me know if you're interested in it, and go check out Fantasy World Games on Instagram, and you could probably just message him on there, and he can figure out how to print some of this stuff for you. But anyways, so we're doing our demo stuff. It's in the evening. We're about to call it a night, and and we're all sitting there, and we were a group of us are what are called henchmen, and henchmen we're basically game promoters. We're actually ambassadors for the game, right? We volunteer for Weird Miniatures, and it's our job to run demos and host tournaments and all that good stuff. And I absolutely loved doing that for the years that I did that. And this particular convention, we had like 5 or 6 henchmen working this convention because we had a very active scene. And it's in the evening. We're about to pack up, and one of the guys in our group, he's about, I want to say he's about 5 or 6 years older than me, right? So he's right. He's one of the older dudes in the group. Um, and he hasn't been doing anything that day, right? And we were kind of making, like, we were giving this guy crap for not really doing anything because the rest of us are working hard. Like, we're running the table, we're running the booth, we're doing the thing, right? Um, and we're giving the older guy crap. Like, dude, you haven't done anything. Like, what are you doing? You're just hanging out. So finally, we're about to head home, or head out for the night. And in walks this lady, like I said, who's about my age, which means she's a little bit younger than this particular henchman, and she's a very attractive lady, right? Very attractive lady, and he pops up out of his chair, and like, because you can tell she's heading for our area. She wants to learn how to play the game, um, and I forget, she was actually talking to one of our female henchmen, because she wanted to learn how to play. And so, so this dude pops up, bolts across the room, and the rest of it just start laughing, like, just fall over on the floor because the guy wasn't gonna do anything the whole day. And then you have an attractive woman show up, and she's like, "Hey, I want to learn how to play Malifaux." Suddenly he's the guy, right? He's Johnny on the spot, and we're just, it was funny too because we were, I guess, it was so obvious what was going on that, you know, we embarrassed him, but at the same time, he didn't care. But, and turns out, of course, she's married, right? And she's married, and she's a really great lady. Um, and her husband, they like going to gaming conventions. It's their hobby. The husband shows up later during during the demo, and he's into it too. He's like, "Oh, cool! This is a great game." We end up being friends with them, and it's been a number of years since we've gamed together. But every now and then, um, her husband will shoot me a message like, "Hey, you going to be at this convention?" Yeah, and we'll meet up, we'll have a drink or something. But that was our first encounter with them. Was she came in by herself, and that dude, and I won't name his name, even though he's not a local here anymore. He moved he moved back east or whatever. But him like bolting up out of his seat, like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you all this stuff," and the rest of us just start busting up laughing. Oh man, it's true though that it's been my experience that of all the games that I've played, that Malifaux is the most. We'll say Malifaux is the most likely to have female players, right? Um, and then second, in my experience, would be War Machine. It's kind of weird. Malifaux and then War Machine. Um, and I know people that they play 40K or whatever, and um, their significant others will also play 40K with them, and that's cool. But it's not. I think what you won't see is, or very, very, very rarely see, is a female coming to play 40K by herself, right? Not because of her dude or whatever. It's something that like Yvonne and I talk about. We talked about it on a few videos and a few streams and everything. That's extremely rare, and um, so when you have that, it's interesting, and I think I've been a little more fortunate than uh, most like gamers and game communities, because like I said, I've had uh, a fair number of like female gamers that just want to come and play some of these games. Malifaux being the main one. Um, Josie, who jumps on this channel every now and then to play board games with me and that kind of stuff. I met her playing Relic Knights, and Super Dungeon Explorer. And that's another example of a female that wasn't dragged there with her boyfriend or whatever, but just came out to game. So it's cool, and it's really cool when that kind of stuff happens. And they have a lot of cool insight about, everybody's all kind of freaked out about trying to get more inclusivity in the tabletop miniature hobby, right? And so they have all these ideas. It's like, oh, I know, female space marine, right? You hear that. I know what'll save us. And they all want more women playing. And I get that, right? I understand that. But it's got to come from the right place. There are people thirsty dudes that Sean and I always talk about. Thirsty dudes that want more females to play. Like that guy that taught Malifaux. Because they want, because it's more of a, I want to meet and hook up with the quote unquote the game girl, right? The unicorn. So there's people that's their motivation, and that's super messed up, right? But I think the right motivation is just you want your game to be, you want your community to have diversity of perspective and opinion and that kind of thing. That's the main reason, right? I look at it like I just want to have a really good community. It doesn't really matter demographically what that community is, who that community is made up of, but it tends to be that if you have a good healthy community of people doing something together, then that good healthy community of people will be made up of different demographics. Okay, so but and the other part of it too, though, is that sometimes these games will just appeal strongly to a very specific portion of the population, right? Guild Ball is very much a sausage fest. Very, very much a sausage fest. There are female Guild Ball players, don't get me wrong. There's some very, very good female Guild Ball players. There are some, like, there is a Spanish, I want to say she's from Spain, but one of the top Alchemist players in the world is a female player. She's extremely good at the game, and she plays in world tournaments. She travels around to go to these tournaments. That's extremely rare. That's extremely rare. And our Guild Ball audience here, or my Guild Ball community, the local community here, we don't have female players in our Guild Ball community. Our Guild Ball community, from a color perspective, is super diverse, right? We have we have players of all players in our meta, of all colors, I should say, in our meta, and we have at least one openly gay player, and we have, I don't know, it's a fairly diverse community, and I like building those kinds of communities because, like I said, my goal is always just to get the coolest people playing. I don't really care what's between their legs or what color their skin is. That's the whole point. That's why I go on these mini rants when people make it about that, because that's totally the wrong idea. It's completely the wrong, like, if you want that, and it's weird to have to explain it this way, but if you want that, then figure out why you want that, and then really change the goal. That's my thing. Like, change the goal to make it, like, if you want that for hookup purposes, then you're just wrong. Just stop. If you want that because, like I said, if you want it because you're trying to build a community of extremely cool people that you want to hang out with, that are going to have a lot of different perspectives and just keep all the conversation and everything very interesting, then that's your goal, right? You end up with what you end up with. That's been my goal for every community that I've worked to build. I don't care about that stuff. I just want the highest quality people. I want people that are very fun to game with. I want people that are excited to go to events and that sort of thing. So, and and oftentimes that means we end up with a very diverse group of people, that's just proof. That's just sort of I look at it as a symptom of a healthy community that you've built. The symptom is that you have diversity in there. To me, it's not the end point. It's not the goal. It's just oh, look, it's very diverse, the people that you have. So the whole diversity in gaming thing, I think, it's misguided in some ways. And again, I mean, I speak here as somebody that has been actively promoting gaming for the last 20 plus years, right? Probably the first 10 years of my gaming life has been more of just being a player, but the past 20 has been more about building these communities, enjoying different games, because I did get away from GW and 40K, and you realize that you have to do that. If you want people to play your game, you have to be a de facto game promoter, right? So male aggression might be a factor if it gets too competitive. Who has the biggest PP? Well, inherently, yes. Right? Inherently, yes. For example, like fighting games. Go to video games for a second. The fighting game community. Fighting game communities are overwhelmingly male dominated, right? Competitive gaming communities are overwhelmingly male dominant because it's the males that want to play these things competitively. I don't look at it as I wouldn't say aggression per se. I would use the word aggression to describe a tone of a gaming community that doesn't have to do with the nature of the game, and I'll explain that in a second here. Let's just get her. Let's get started on. I decided she's Harmony, so she's gonna have red hair like Harmony. So the competitive video gaming. Just say that word out loud and know that you are. Know that you are going to be in a predominantly male space because men want to play these video games competitively. It doesn't make them aggressive per se, but what you are describing, or when you use the term aggressive in a gaming community, I will say yes. Like, because these gaming communities are competitive by nature, it will attract aggressive personalities. And that will... Oh, wow. What orange is that? Oh, this is Gryph-hound Orange. You could also use Beastie Brown. It's really nice for red hair. Anyways, so you can have you have aggressive personalities, and aggressive personalities drive a lot of cool people away. Not just women, but cool people. I'm gonna just focus up here for a second while I rant for a second. So here's the deal, right? Because you have aggressive personalities in in gaming communities, then you have other activities to deal with. You have what is called gatekeeping, right? Gatekeeping is, oh, well, do you really know enough about this game? Should you be here at this event? Are you, do you know all of the lore of the patriarchs? And do you know who Marnius Calgar is? Like those gate fucking keepers, okay? The gatekeepers. That's an aggressive trait. That's, just like, are you really a female gamer? They ask you this. Girls have to go in and they have to prove their mettle. They have to prove that not, you know, they're not just someone there kind of milking it for likes and that kind of thing, right? So you have gatekeeping. That's a big problem in gaming community. It's not the racism. It's not, oh, we don't like you. It's not that they don't like us because we're different. Our skin is a different color, or we're a different gender. That's not what it is, and that's why I take exception to the GW tweet, that whole thing, and all these people that just slap token niceties on top of that. That's fucking bullshit. Okay, I'll just tell you right now, that's trash, and you're missing the point. Okay, if you want your gaming community to be more inclusive, knock off the aggressive fucking behavior, right? Just stop with the gatekeeping. Oh well, if you don't agree with what I agree, then you shouldn't be here. Nah, that's fucking wrong. Like that's the exact attitude that makes these communities um, difficult for outsiders to come into. Okay, uh, and Sean and I did this whole thing, weeks ago, where we talked about like our different backgrounds and what drove us to gaming in the first place, right? Because we felt like outsiders. And I think a lot of minorities, and I think a lot of women, they've like there are times in your life where you feel like you're an outsider and that you get, and so these hobbies, these sorts of things are on the fringe, and that appeals to you. And you come in, at least back in the day, you would come into a comic book store or a hobby store or something, where the people in that store are used to being picked on or excluded or made fun of for different reasons in their life. And for us to come in to that place, we feel sort of a kinship with those people because we understand and they understand that we get picked on out there, right? So it never had to do with this identity politics bullshit. Never. Because it the game, the hobby, the comic, the movie, the anime, that's what united us in the first place. That's what united all of us that felt excluded from things in our life in the first place. It was not the color of our skin or anything like that. And to turn it into that is wrong. Um, so, anyways, but, but back to what does keep people out? What does keep people out of the the gaming and hobby community? It's like I said, it's aggressive behavior, but it's not racism. It's not It's just dicks. It's just assholes that do things like gatekeeping, that try to maintain elite status, that feel like they somehow own the space. Okay, and you can be any color, you can be any gender, you can be anything and still be a dick, right? You could still have that trait about you. That is the problem with inclusiveness in gaming. Okay? You want to fix inclusiveness in gaming, fix that shit. And this whole attitude of, well, you don't feel the way I do, then you don't get to be here. That's trash. Okay? And uh, Sean and I, like I said, when we did our stream and we talked about this, I brought up a couple of examples of times where I was, when I encountered somebody that I am diametrically opposed to beliefs wise in the real world, right? Like I said, I gamed with avowed skinheads. Like I gamed with people that were white nationalists, and that's how they felt. in real life. And if you really, and I firmly believe this, if you really want to combat that gaming world, if you want to, because I really feel like the gaming world, the comic book world, the movie world, the fandoms, I think the fandoms actually do have the ability to make this stuff better, to combat bigotry. And here's what I'm getting at. You encounter somebody like that. This game, this hobby, has the chance to gain common ground with a person like that. Okay? Doing this, playing these games, for me, has given me the opportunity to actually game with people that I'm diametrically opposed to, and for them to be able to see me as a fellow human being, as a person, and somebody that you want to stand up for, somebody that you have a kinship with. So kicking them out of the gaming store, like forming up a circle, going, we're going to get rid of all the racists in here. If there was a racist in there, all you did was you passed them on to another group and you've radicalized them further. You've given them further reason to hate who they hate. And they had no reason in the first place, okay? So you've just freaking armed somebody to do that. Like I said, my personal experience with this is that we were able to use this to find common ground with somebody. And by the time, we parted ways, and like I said, the guy, I think he moved up to the Washington area or whatever. He was like, no, I realized that, I don't have to just game with white people. Like, there are plenty of other cool people out there, and I want to meet more gamers. I want to meet more diverse gamers and that kind of thing. And that was crazy. At the time, I didn't even think, it hadn't even occurred to me that I made any sort of impact on that person's life. But looking back at it now, I was like, holy shit. Actually, I'm no Daryl Davis, don't get me wrong. But, like, that could have potentially changed the person's life. It could have changed their views. They could actually maybe be a better, more decent person. Because of what? Because we played Malifaux together. Because we played games together. We painted. And to get in here and be like, well, we don't like your kind, that's the same fucking attitude that you're trying to stop. Right? That's you're not going to fight bigotry with bigotry. If, in my opinion, if there's somebody that you don't agree with and you find common ground with that person, like, keep the doors open, because that's what it's about. That's one of the best things about this whole hobby, comic book, that whole thing, growing up, right? I'm older than most of the people that watch my stream. There's some old dudes that watch with me. But, we, like I said, we grew up in an era where we were made fun of at school for being different. That we were, I got all the best Asian jokes, by the way. I was singing, but like a week ago, I'm sorry, I'm going to sidetrack again, but like a week ago, was having dinner with the family, and my wife and I were talking about, all the racial stuff going on, whatever, right? My wife is white, for those of you that don't know. And and I was telling her the songs, like I was singing the songs that the kids would sing to me as a little kid, because I was Asian in school, and as a way to pick on me. And that, and yeah, at the time when you're a little kid, that shit hurts, right? That shit hurts when when other kids are picking on you for that. But I sang it to her, and we laughed our asses off. I guess I can't sing those songs on air, but man, they're funny. It's it, it's messed up. It's messed up, but you got to be able to laugh at that stuff as somebody who's grown past it, right? And she's like, "Oh my God, they would sing that to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, they'd sing this to me." And but it was so funny that we would both laugh. Like, yeah, it's pretty funny, right? Anyways, to be our age and to be picked on, singled out, that kind of thing in school, specifically because of your race or your gender, your sexual orientation, anything like that, right? The All of this stuff, playing miniature games, reading comic books, being into Star Wars, oh God, all of that stuff, that was stuff that united people. That's what united all of the outcasts, all of the quote unquote losers, nerds, geeks, dweebs, all of those folks from our generation found common ground and were united by those things. Why would you gatekeep that? Right? Why would you uh, it's true. It's there's there are there are there are and there will always be people in the gaming hobby, the gaming community that um, don't have the social skills and are going to drive people away because of awkwardness or maybe just a lack of self-awareness that would cause them to say or do things. Oh my God, there was a funny thing that happened. Never mind. I don't, I don't want to talk about it on air, but it's just like you see that kind of stuff all the time, and it happened to, like I said, something that came to my mind immediately that happened to a female a female friend of mine in the gaming presence, and it was like this person had no self-awareness. But anyways, these communities will always have people like that, unfortunately, but also fortunately. Um, there are going to be people like that are, let's just be honest, they're not going to be the best. They're not going to be the best ambassadors for the normies. Okay, we just have to accept it. But we also have to appreciate that. Hey, at least those folks have a place here, right? As much as they drive me insane, and trust me, they do, and I talk shit about them all the time. Generally to their face stuff, right? Because I want to make sure, like, it's a coaching session. And people can call me out on my nerdy shit when I'm out of line. That's cool. But the point is, they still have a place, right? They still have a place here. They still have a place in these circles. And I would never want to remove them unless they were so toxic that, like I said, that are you a real gamer girl? Like if they're that type, I don't care what color they are. I don't care what's in between their legs. I don't care where they put what's in between their legs. They're out, right? Because that's the kind of that's the toxic attitude that unfortunately can destroy an entire gaming community. Coming in with inherent bias and opposing political viewpoints and that kind of thing, while that can be dangerous on extreme ends, when that it can be, for sure, let's acknowledge that, and hate is a very dangerous thing and we want to combat that, but this is a kind of a different scenario, right? You have an opportunity to actually interact with somebody that that is sitting on the other side of the fence for a reason. And maybe it's worth figuring out what that reason is. Because most people, in their heart of hearts, are trying to be good, decent people. So, I don't know. I just launched into a whole rant and we stopped painting a long time ago. But hey, here's a Guild Ball player in a bikini. You can do what you wish with that. I guess I should have been like this whole time. I could have been painting her bikini blue and that kind of thing, and I don't know. But that's my rant about the whole uh, inclusivity in gaming thing. Is I have a very different perspective on it, and I think it's because if you look at uh, the path that whole thing went down, right? Let's look at it. Let's break that down. Okay, you know what? It's late. I don't care. We'll do a little bit of painting, and I'll just talk more trash, as I always do. But yeah, let's break that down, right? So they put out that tweet, okay? Yeah, hey, we love everybody, but if you don't love everybody, you can't be with us, right? And on its surface, that does seem like a very cool thing to say. It does seem like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? My first reaction to that was sort of, well, they're not saying, to me, they weren't saying anything. I was like, they're not really saying anything. You're not really, it's just like kind of a token, it was just sort of a token gesture from where I was seated. But, so they put the thing out, right? And then people start sharing it. And then it becomes an episode of, I'm just going to call it out. It becomes an episode of, white people's favorite game du jour, Find the Nazi. Literally. Come on, white people. Like, why is that your favorite game? It's, well, there's a Nazi under my bed. There's another Nazi. Here they come. The Nazis are here. Guys, Nazis. And it became that. It's because they posted it and everyone's like giving high fives. Like, yeah, I feel the exact same way. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm super inclusive. Me too, man. I'm the most tolerant. And that was going on in the, in all the comment sections of where this stuff was getting shared. And then there were people that spoke up and they were like, hey, and maybe they saw or they heard what I heard. And they're like, hey, this isn't really saying anything, guys. This is just sort of a corporate nicety, right? And so people were making fun of it. Thanks, brand, because let's face it, a lot of brands just kind of latch onto these social causes and, just to get the brownie points with the public and whatever. And I can respect that. Brands got to do, right? I'm a capitalist. Brands can make, they got to make their money. People will be getting all that, my brand is really cares about people. No, it doesn't. It's a brand. It's there to make money, dude. Like, do you not? I think the whole world could come to understand how little they mean in the great scheme of each things to one another. I think we wouldn't have such naive opinions. But anyways, the whole thing. So people start patting each other on the back. Then you have another set of people that are like, hey, wait a minute. Let's apply a little bit of scrutiny and say, hey, this just seems like a token nicety. And it's just another way to kind of, for the brand to virtue signal. And then that's when the game really starts, right? Because it's the posting of that, at least in some small way, is to try to force a round to find the Nazi. Because the minute somebody voices any sort of dissent towards that, it's, oh, hey, thanks, Dicey. The minute anybody, voices any sort of dissent, then it's like, oh, you're a Nazi. If you don't agree with this, you must hate black people, right? That, like, they immediately go to that. And you have people threatening violence, like, yeah, if I see any Nazis in this group, I'm gonna punch them in the face. Yeah, I'm gonna kick them in the balls, and I'm gonna drag them across the curb. Yeah, well, I'm gonna punch them in the face, and then I'm gonna kick them in the balls. Then I'm gonna go to their house, and I'm gonna knock on their door, and I'm gonna threaten their children. Then I'm gonna light a cross on their yard. Like, that's where it went. Like, that's That's exactly the sort of toxic gatekeeping that I'm talking about. That it's that attitude that keeps inclusivity low in gaming. It's not the racism. It's that stupid uh it's that stupid dogmatic, you know, sort of attitude that they're entitled to save the world. That you know, don't don't worry, person of color. I'm here to save you. Like that. That's the problem. Okay, and so when that whole thing went down, I got into like a big old argument with people on the internet because I was in this thread where everyone was arguing with everyone. They were playing Find the Nazi, and I was like, "Hey, person of color here, been promoting games for the past 20 plus years. I might have an opinion on this." and they just and I shared my opinion with like one person, but was largely ignored. And it was like, "Oh no, your opinion doesn't agree with my zealotry. I'm and I'm here to hear myself talk about how virtuous I am." Right? That was the thread. That's what we got out of that thread. So anyway, that's that's the problem I have with stuff like that. Is that what did that really accomplish? What did that post really accomplish? You had a bunch of big YouTube channels come out and all in support of that, and everybody, it's all nice, and everybody gets to do their high fives, and everybody gets to feel proud, proud for themselves, and they feel like they accomplished some great thing, when really it was, like I said, it was just a token nicety, and it all it did was it exposed the people that wanted to play Find the Nazi. It did not do anything. It did not result in any improvement in terms of inclusivity in the miniature wargaming hobby. Okay, and point it out if I'm wrong. Right? If you can source something and say, no, Octave, it actually ended up being this, and now there's a 20% uptick in people of color playing miniature games. If you could prove that to me, I'll shut up. If you could prove to me that this token nicety, this token thing that they put out somehow changed the world or changed even one opinion, then I'll shut up, because I know it didn't. It resulted in what I said it did. People got to high five each other, feel good about something. It was instantaneous virtue without actually having to do any of the work of understanding, biased and what's wrong with the gaming community. That it's such an easy, oh, we don't need to look at ourselves. It's just these Nazis that we have to find, right? That's the problem with gaming. The gaming isn't me. The problem with gaming isn't me and my shitty attitudes and how I keep people from wanting to play games with me. The problem is the racists, right? So it didn't accomplish anything other than, made a bunch of people mad at each other. It didn't accomplish anything. Meanwhile, on the negative side, what it did accomplish is, like I said, if people do feel like they have different political views, or they have a different perspective, that they don't feel safe or welcome in another space in society. And so why should they interact with anybody, right? Maybe the only way they could blow off steam was to play a game of 40K, which is a mistake. Play Guild Ball. But yeah, maybe that was, but maybe that's how they, right? Maybe that was one of their only hobbies. And if you are one of those people, think about it, right? Like I said, you were an outcast. You were probably driven into this space the same reason why many of us were, but, well, not the same reason, but just like many of us were, but for different reasons. And you're starting to find like, oh man, I can't read the comic books I used to like because they've changed all those. They won't, I can't watch the movies I used to like. They've censored those. I can't talk to these people about how I felt about, this is such and such comic because my views are different. They might think I'm a Nazi. You're pushing them further and further and further away when really you want to fix this kind of stuff. You want those people in front of you. You want to be able to interact with them. You want to be able to say, hey, you know what? You were probably treated bad by somebody, and that's why you feel the way you do. But we can game together. We can have this hobby together. I won't judge you for your stuff. Let's just play this game. Let's just enjoy this together. And let's find some common ground, because you'll find out that we agree a lot more on stuff than we thought we did. Instead, these actions just force factions. It just becomes, well, now there's people on this side of the fence and people on that side of the fence. And what good does that do anybody? Right? That's what everything does in today's society. That's like we just do that with everything. Everything just divides us straight down the line. Media absolutely loves it because that gives them more clicks. They can set up echo chambers to say one thing or the other, and people are happy to sit in those echo chambers and have all their beliefs affirmed. So that's just how we do things now, and it's just sad. We can't. It's the reason why we can't. Why we can't unite. It's because everything we treat everything as a straight up division, that you have to sit on one side or the other side, that there isn't any nuance allowed in your positions, that you're not even allowed to consider what I just said. Think about what I just said, and you can't rewind that and play that for somebody, because somebody on the other side, they will simply look at we'll call it the label of the argument, declare that if you are not for this token nicety tweet, that clearly you must be in favor of racism, and they've come to the conclusion that I'm a white supremacist, right? That's what they're. Oh well, he didn't agree with and this my favorite celebrity, and the people on CNN, they all feel this way, so therefore he's a white supremacist. Like, that's how, when you're just training yourself to look for your enemies, you'll never find your friends, right? That's what we're trained to do. We're trained to find our opponents, and we'll never find our friends, right? So you're agreeing with the views, but the people saying them do not play with them playbook. What? But the people saying them do not play with them playbook. Sim Christian saying all this about love your brother, then do the total opposite. Yeah, for sure. Actually, Dicey, you're 100% right there. I mean, we some of us, and you're old enough to remember this, but a lot of us remember the moral hypocrisy of the 80s. And that was driven from the right-wing moral hypocrisy. The politicians that would get up and and deliver these fiery speeches about how immoral homosexuality was, and then we'd find them in the bathhouse 3 weeks later. We remember the moral panic of the 80s. We remember Phil Donahue talking about devil worshippers being around every corner, and you and your children not being safe, and the people that used to go to therapy, and the hypnotherapist would put them into a trance, and they would believe that they were, they would reenact these fake memories in their minds of their parents, including them in satanic rituals. Do you remember how like crazy that moral panic was? And it was always it was the same message. It was like, but we're right this time, right? We're on the right side of history, guys. We're right this time. We're the moral side. They're the enemy. They're the evil people, right? We're the good guys. Just all you have to do is just be for us and be against them. And it sounds so easy. And at the time, believe it or not, I know it's very hard for people to understand, but at the time, in the 80s, looking back, and you're like, yeah, I'm against devil worshippers. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm against, people taking your cat and sacrificing it to Satan and all that stuff. That was a moral panic of the 80s. That that and people would check each other. Are you Christian? Yeah, I'm Christian. Are you Christian? I'm Christian. Are you straight? Yeah, I'm straight. AIDS is gonna get you if you're not straight. AIDS is gonna come to your house, and your crotch is gonna catch fire. And it'll light fire crotches on everybody else like that. I I'm just talking trash, but that is literally the same thing, right? And every time in history that you've had a majority of people who claim the exclusive right of morality, that's when the worst shit in history has happened, right? Think back. Like what is the common denominator between the Spanish Inquisition, Salem witch burning, the Jim Crow laws, Nazi concentration camps, colonization of the eradication of native peoples in North, like put them all together. Is what is the common denominator for all of those? It was always a group of people that was like, "Hey, I'm super cool. Yeah, I'm super cool too. Yeah, man, we're totally in the right. This time we're right. We're going to make the world better. We're going to make the world better. Yeah, we're totally going to make the world better. You know, all we got to do is just go defeat everybody that isn't one of us. Yeah, that's right. And then the world will be better. We totally got it this time, guys. And we do not learn our lesson, right? It wasn't us. It wasn't us. It was those heathens in the new world. It wasn't us. It was that lady in my village. I'm pretty sure she's a witch. It wasn't us. Pretty sure it was those. Pretty sure it was those black people trying to drink out of the same fountains we are. It wasn't us. It's the Jews that are ruining all of our neighborhoods. You, it's everybody wants to concentrate on the tragedy itself. They like, oh, but the Holocaust. Just don't do the Holocaust again, and we'll be fine. So it's like, well, let's call our group non-Holocausters, right? And they miss the entire effing point of what got them there in the first place. It's this whole group morality. It's this morality groupthink. It's this idea that this group of people is morally right and morally superior to another group of people. And I will always stand against that because I'm an amoral bastard. Like I'm painting a lady in a bikini with a guilt ball. All right, how depraved can you be? That, but that is the nature of the problem. That is the madness of the human condition. Is that that when you get groups of people together and they think that they own right, that they own morality, the shit that they will do to people that they label outside of their group is fucking horrifying. Okay? So I always freak out when there is a new wave of this is the new wave of morality, guys. This time we got it. We're going to fix it. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, there were a lot of fantastic social progressions and things that happened in our society that made society better. Most of that had to do with, giving people equal rights. Most of that, the last one was really the legalization of gay marriage in the United States and all of the countries around it. Like there's good progress to be made. There's lots of good progress, but we get to a point where we push exclusive morality too far, and people use that to beat on each other. Like, think about that Games Workshop thing. People were using that sentiment to beat on each other. Who's the Nazi? I'll find the Nazi right now and I'll punch that Nazi. Yeah, I'm gonna put a band around their arm and then put them in a camp and put them in ovens. Like, that people will there are people that love to lord shit over each other, that love to exert power over one another, and that love to prey on the minority or the weak or whatever. And yes, they will use morality, they'll use just causes, they'll use that stuff because they'll be protected, because they know that the majority of people will come back and protect them. Yeah, but that was just one incident. It's overall we're good. Like, that's what's going to happen. Like that. Anyways, they become more isolated. More isolated makes you go nuts. Yeah, you hate, right? When you isolate somebody who already hates a bunch of people, they'll just hate more people. They'll just come up with worse plans, right? It's, you want a functioning society. You got to have people. I'm kind of saying it's kind of a mixed message, right? Because I'm saying on one hand, we need to feel united like we need to feel united as a group of people. Like we need to find common bonds with one another, but we don't need to be, united to such a purpose that we think that we're the only people who can be right about anything. That's the scary part, right? Let's all come together. Let's agree on that, hey, really what matters to most to people is just the ability to live a peaceful life, take care of their children, raise a family, not have to worry about getting robbed or killed or other or worse happen to them. That's where most of us are. And we just want to be able to, lead a decent life, a decent, peaceful life. If we could, let's just agree on that, right? We all agree on that, and then we will just work to protect one another's, I don't know, one another's right to live in our space in Murica, right? Okay, she needs a let's give her a little wash here for that hair. I mean, the hair's cool, but it just needs a little bit of detail. I hope you guys enjoyed my rant. But yeah, that is how I feel about this kind of stuff, and it's not a popular opinion, and it's a nuanced opinion, and you can see that it takes me a good half hour or so just to explain why I don't like that thing that everybody is supposed to like. Right? That shit sends off alarm bells in my head. Like, not this. That's not the way we it doesn't help. Anyways, I'll paint this thing and we'll get on it. Okay. Yeah, she's pretty cool. I like her. Hair's a little oily. We're gonna have to let that dry, but it should dry nice. It's gonna leave a little bit of, it's gonna stay in the crevices there. I could come back with some orange. In fact, come back with some orange and bring some of that carrot back to the top of her hair, right? Ooh, just a little though. You don't want to. Don't want to kill it. Okay. But yeah. Anyways, that's where we're at, people. Okay. Oh wait. See, I still have stuff I need to do. Fireworks are still going on outside. All right. Those are the people that pushed it too far. Dude, it's super late at night. It's time to call it. Time to call it, folks. The only people shooting off fireworks at this hour are assholes. See how I just excluded a group of people there? Now let's do some awful shit to them. Now that we've established a moral majority. Anyways, we're gonna call it here, guys. Super late and ready to go to bed. Scandalous closed girls. Good. Yes, agree, Dicey. Thank you, sir. All right, guys. We're gonna call it here. Want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good night, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.